This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do? This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. I am you. But that over there, the man, the myth, the legend, PMAC, Philip PMAC Magruder. What up, man?
Well, sir. Yes, sir, man. You got it right, man. Philip PMAC Magruder. That's how the way I like my introduction, just like that, good sir, man. Thank you.
I know you do. I heard. Look. I figured it out. But what's going on, man?
Oh, it's all good, man. Just been busy, just taking care of a lot of stuff. Inside, outside of a Chiefs Focus, especially with my disability rights stuff. This past Friday, I spoke at KU Edwards campus, part of the Autism Across the Lifespan, part of a panel. It was an amazing panel, and was able to explain my life on at times at the University of Kansas, and as a kid like me having autism at the time, and like those who were in the session, like advice they could learn from me, and also 3 other panelists who were very amazing individuals. And I'm very excited to have met with them. They are trans women, and they are amazing, and they were advocating. And I'm gonna just tell you this right here: if anybody has a problem with me bringing them up in a positive light, turn off this shit right now, because we ain't gonna have no discrimination. Everybody is welcome, especially to come and listen to this podcast, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And that's just all I want to say first and foremost. And that all leads me to say that I've just been able to not only take care of that, but also get my scouting reports done, especially after the combine, and then after the news of some of these players that we met at the combine, and then also some of the news of the players that are returning, and so many close calls that we had over the last 2 weeks, especially starting last week and also going into what we're going to talk about today. That leads me to say, welcome, Chiefs Kingdom, to another episode of the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. I'm glad to be joined by my co-host and producer, Thiz, you, the letter, not the word. The offseason is here. As you guys know, teams are shaping up their draft boards while considering free agents to build for 2025, which they already have during this first wave. The focus for the Chiefs this offseason is on who will don the red and gold this September. We have a special episode with just 2 segments today, people. Yes, 2. The number of today is 2. 2 segments focusing on just that's news to me, because we have so much Chiefs news that had happened over the last 2 weeks, and we'll conduct this show with my first ever 7th round mock draft of the year. Well, at first it included some trades, but after these moves in free agency, I had to readjust my mock draft, but we're going to do a full 7th rounder. So let's dive into our first segment, with good old That's News to Me.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
That's news to me.
And how do we start off one of the first big news segments that really started this whole craziness of what the Chiefs have been going through? And I'll start with the first thing of news that happened. The Kansas City Chiefs had traded 2-time All-Pro left guard Joe Thuney to the Chicago Bears for a 4th round pick. And I already know, bro, that's why I got that part for you to come on once I pause after what I'm about to say on this first one. Then I'm going to say what I'm going to say after you say what you say. So, yes, for a 4th round pick in 2026 NFL draft. And that was said to the Associated Press. Joe Thuney, who is 32, had nearly a $27 million salary cap hit next season. That prompted Chiefs to seek a trade. The Bears, aiming to strengthen their offensive line to protect young quarterback Caleb Williams, then recently acquired before Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson from the LA Rams, who was a Pro Bowler the previous year. Both trades have been finalized as the new league year started just 5 days ago. And Tooney was named the Chiefs team MVP last season and started all 146 games in his 9-year career, winning 4 Super Bowl titles. Previously, the Chiefs have now just tagged Trey Smith, and that's as part of the reason why that probably had to happen with the non-exclusive franchise tag, positioning him to be a top paid guard coming soon. Now, what's your thoughts, my guy?
I hated it.
I know.
I hated it. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because I hated it doesn't mean I don't understand it. I get the move. I actually thought they would extend Tooney.
Me too.
I thought they would extend him at the end of the year, given that his cap hit was so high, and he's been such a standout guy on our offensive line. I didn't think they wanted to lose him, especially on the inside, because we missed a lot on the tackles in the last. Well, since Patrick Mahomes been here, we've had like the tackles position has been a revolving door, as it were, and I thought that they would want to keep at least Tooney. He's been here since what, after the 2020 season?
Yeah.
So our strength of our offensive line is on the inside, and I thought they would want to keep that. And Tooney was so gracious enough to go out, slide outside, and he did well as much as he could, but he was overwhelmed in the Super Bowl. And I don't think that had anything to necessarily do with the trade. I just think the cap hit was high. His age was getting up there. And if you're not getting younger at certain positions, then you will be doomed, because you still got Karlaftis to get up there. You got Karlaftis and McDuffie to get a deal done. Not this year, but next year at the latest. It's a lot of money you got to spend. I mean, so I get it, but I'm not a fan of it. And now you have to look for the whole left side of your offensive line. Now you have to go shopping for your whole left side, which we'll talk about here in a second with one of our new acquisitions. But that's why I feel the way I feel.
I understand that, man. But you got to look at it like this. I'm not happy with the move either. When I saw it, I was shocked, but then I was like, not really shocked, because it was going to – I did say back in April of last year, and I think you remember me saying this, if we can't keep both players, then it's going to have to come down to either Joe or Trey staying. They were the options, and we opted for the more experienced player, especially with $16 million of cap space opening up. I mean, in football, the right guard is more crucial and more important than the left guard, bro. I mean, Joe deserved MVP honors for stepping up from playing left guard to left tackle when the Chiefs faced those injuries, like especially, or, the terrible play from Wanye and Kingsley, and then, the injury from Humphrey that promoted them to say, we got to stick with Joe all the way. But the offensive line positions significantly impact the team, man. But the left guard position is often undervalued. You know what I mean? Coaches typically place their weakest blocker there, basically. In contrast, the right guard must effectively force powerful defensive tackles one-on-one, making Trey Smith's return that more important. Remember, there's the one benchmark of what a true left guard should look like, especially if you're talking about in terms of weak, but he's not weak. But similar to Joe Tooney, you could find a guy basically, let's say in the draft, lower rounds, and you can turn to a great left guard.
Not only that,
but before you say what you say, though, right? Remember Brian Waters.
Yes.
2-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, who was pivotal for the Chiefs as the starting left guard. Currently the Chiefs had limited options at left guard. You bring back Mike Caliendo. You still have Nunter Norzad. You have others competing at the spot. I'm going to just straight up say this. No to Kingsley Suamataia playing that left guard, dude, okay? He's a natural right tackle, and I even have to admit that, okay? While Norzad excels in pass protection and needs to improve his run blocking, he's a strong candidate to me for the role for the left guard as of now. But it would be ideal, in my personal opinion, the left guard. Left guard.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. You're right.
Because if you look at his tape at Penn State in 2022, he actually looked like a better.
You froze up there. Penn State left. He looked like a better left guard than a left tackle. I will say this. With the success of the Eagles, I don't know what's happening on your side, bro. But you might have to get out and log back in. But with the success of the Eagles and how they did Mekhi Becton was a left tackle for the New York Jets. And then he ended up signing a 1-year deal with the Eagles, and they put him at guard. And it worked for them this year, but he's not their long-term guy, and they knew that. So he's not signed currently. Now, I've heard some people say Mekhi Becton could be on this team at guard. But nah, I'm good. We signed we'll talk about this when Philip gets back. But we signed ourselves a left tackle who was the backup for the 49ers. And so you got your left tackle, and you also have his understudy, which should be Kingsley Suamataia. Then you got, like he said, Hunter Norzad and a few others that you could put into that left guard spot, or you can draft a natural left guard. There's options. There's plenty of options available, and while I really rather not, they did. While I really rather not, I'd rather draft a guy. To be fair with you, but like he said earlier, the left guard position is a position that you can plug somebody in. Like, it's not a pivotal spot on the offensive line. So because you got a guy with the 49ers that came over, whose name is escaping me right now, that he's there, and hopefully he holds up, and we won't have to have a rotating door at the left tackle position, which shores up the left guard. And then once whoever gets in that left guard position, they start learning and knowing the how Trey Smith and why, and Joe Tooney keep coming out my mouth, but not necessarily Joe Tooney, but Creed Humphrey. Once he starts flowing with them, it'll be a lot easier. With Tooney gone, what that does is that lowers the effectiveness early on in the inside offensive line, which I'm not going to say it's pivotal, because it's not. Because I do think Pat can run. Pat relies on his legs when the interior is penetrated. However, I will say that we need to be able. Hey, you're back.
My
I do say
laptop just turned off on instantly, bro. I'm like, what the heck just happened here?
You're fine, bro. You are good. It happens.
Yeah.
Sorry
about that, folks.
That's what we call it.
Yeah. So what were you just saying there about that? Yeah.
I was saying that we have options at guard, like you mentioned, and that while I did not like the Tooney leaving thing, I understood why, because we have options. And once you put that left guard position alongside Trey Smith and Creed, like, that'll solidify the interior. And there's not many guys that'll penetrate the interior that much. Normally with Pat Mahomes, you're going to try to get him around the edge, because once you flush Pat out the pocket, that's where the magic happens. Okay, you flush Pat out the pocket, magic happens. So most people are going to try to go around the edge with Patrick Mahomes. So you just got to make sure that whoever they choose, they end up having a symmetry with Creed and Trey.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And as part of that other part of the news, man, and especially when you need those type of guys, After the Joe Tooney news, then the next day woke up to some news that, oh my gosh, it almost had you saying, man, not again, man. And let's just say
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy avoids a close call in Texas for the second consecutive offseason. Promising rookie for the Chiefs has faced legal issues in Texas. Last year, it was Rashee Rice's street racing incident, trying to be Vin Diesel family. And this year is Xavier Worthy, who was at first arrested for an alleged felony domestic violence on March the 7th, but he will not face any charges. Initially accused of assaulting a family member, actually an ex-girlfriend, the allegation was was deemed baseless after witnesses claimed that the ex-girlfriend was the actual abuser. So Williamson County District Attorney Sean Dick announced that after further investigation, his office will not pursue the case. Worthy had been released from custody, and his legal team is cooperating with the ongoing investigation. And we don't know what's going on with that since, but your thoughts on that, man? That close call.
I don't think it's over. To be fair with you, I don't think.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I don't think the situation's over with, and so keep an eye on that. We still got Rasheed's case to figure out. It's not done yet. So, I mean, I'm gonna give. This is unsolicited advice, and I don't really like to give unsolicited advice, but I'm gonna give it anyway. Stop going back home. You got a new life.
Say it again. Amen. Hallelujah.
You got a new life now. Okay. There's only so many people in this world that get the opportunity that you have. And I understand you want to go home.
Right.
I understand you want to show off a little bit. I get it. Nobody gets it better than me. I just don't do it. It's not good. That is your old life. Okay. And your old life will drag you down if you're not careful. And at 18, 19, or I guess not 19-year-olds in the NFL, but 20, 21, 22, your life could take a drastic turn early. I'm just saying. And I don't know if the rookie symposium is working or not, because I know they used to tell them all this stuff in the rookie symposium. And I know they still have it, but I know Herm is at ESPN, but maybe they need to bring Herm back and tell him to give them a speech about letting go of your old life. Cause bruh, it's I don't know, man. I don't really understand. And I don't know if it was his fault or not. That's beyond the point. The fact that you got to be in this position is not good. And you can't control everything. I get it, but control the things you can control. And try to stay out of trouble. That's all I'm saying. Maybe it's best not to go home. Find a new home. Go live with Pat.
Yeah. Go. Just go stay with QB1. Yeah, Antonio Brown stayed with Tom Brady. So
that's literally the thought process I had. Literally. I'm like, Rashee, go stay with Pat. Hollywood, go stay with Pat. Pat got 15 guest houses, 11 or 10 guest houses for all his offense. Like, bruh, seriously. Running an Airbnb out here in these streets.
For real, man. So, it's just what I think, man. One must be cautious about those in their circle, for one, in my personal opinion. I mean, it's just that straightforward. I mean, now with Kareem returning, which we'll get into later on in the show as part of this segment, he would likely speak with him privately, and guide him on navigating such situations. With his experience, he could set a positive example for both those guys and provide, the valuable advice on avoiding similar situations, and which is why I'm pleased with how things have unfolded. But like you said, it might not be over. However, if I were Worthy, I would. If they said at first that he could press charges, I would have, especially if I'm falsely accused of something that I didn't do. Let's take an example, Tupac. So,
I mean, it's a different type of situation. I'm sure he still has feelings for the young lady. I don't know anything about any of that, but there's extenuating circumstances, so we get it, and hopefully it all comes out on the up and up for Worthy and the Chiefs. It ain't over until it's over, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. What you
Absolutely
got
agree,
next?
man. So now you got speaking of Hollywood and those guys as you mentioned, if he had the opportunity, and Hollywood is back in KC. Moving forward from this debacle, the good news out of this, as I mentioned, bringing him back was important, as he is going to sign a 1-year deal for $11 million. It was no surprise there because it was said, especially by Nate Taylor, who's part of the Athletic, that Hollywood and Xavier were speaking to each other after the Super Bowl loss, and the media confidently believed that Hollywood was returning to help elevate this offense. That was said in the locker room with that conversation. The writing was on the wall. When I heard that from Nate, I said, yeah, Hollywood's coming back. I'm glad things are falling into place, especially with Kelsey telling Pat McAfee last week that he's returning as well. After surgery, Brown returned in week 16. As we all know, he only had 9 catches for 91 yards in 2 games in the regular season. His late season return, actually, it really didn't do, he didn't really do much, but he only had just, 5 catches for 50 yards. But his presence alone opened up the offense, and you saw some of the things that could happen. And despite his struggles, the Chiefs remain optimistic, offering him that 1-year deal to fulfill his role as that deep threat. While they secure Brown, the Chiefs still need a few more receiving options, especially like they got Juju back, which we'll get into later, and maybe they could look into getting a big body possession receiver in this draft class and everything else like that. But what's your thoughts?
Originally, I was cool with the Hollywood move. Originally, I was cool with the idea of bringing him back, but now I'm not.
Go ahead.
I get the concept. Okay, I get the concept.
Right.
The issue I have is how different can this offense look if you bring in so many people back? And that's the problem that was the issue all season. You kept pulling the strings on the lawnmower. You kept pulling the string on the lawnmower, but it never started up. You kept yanking the string, you yanking it, and the lawnmower never started. You didn't change the spark plug. You didn't make sure the gas was filled up. You didn't make sure the oil was filled up. Like, you didn't check how dirty the carburetor was. We just yanking, and we didn't do anything. And now we bringing this. Now we didn't put the lawnmower back in the garage, and now we about to bring it out and try to do the same thing over again. We couldn't get the offense going at all on this all season. Forget it. All season. And granted, Hollywood wasn't a part of that. I get it because he was injured most of the season. But when he was here, he ain't getting much. And I know it has a lot to do with Nagy. But he ain't going nowhere.
I understand.
And now neither is Hollywood. And now neither is Juju, Mr. One Good Game a Season. Like, I just
one or two.
We only had one last year. I just think this offense could be much more than what it is, and we need to raise the floor of our offensive production, raise the floor of our offensive weaponry, if you want to say it.
Yeah.
And I do think Hollywood does that, but everybody else doesn't. That's why, I mean, as much love to Christian. I'm not Christian. Much love to Justin Watson. Justin
Reed.
Much love to the wide receiver who left.
Oh, Justin Watson. Yeah,
Justin Watson. Okay, much love to him, but he was one of our lower tier receivers, and he
more consistent route runner. Yeah,
most definitely. But he was one of our lower tier receivers, and that lowers your floor a little bit. And I just think we need fresh blood because
I think Hollywood is fresh blood. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna just say this. I disagree on that part. Like, that's the only
Okay.
thing about Watson, the route running. But what about catches? Consistently catching the ball,
Yeah.
bringing those
Yeah.
production yards and stuff. That's what you're getting out of Hollywood Brown. That's one of the reasons why you bring him in the first place before he got hurt. And, yes, those injuries limited Brown, who is 5'9", 180 pounds, same size as Worthy. But the Chiefs focus on getting him the ball as soon as
Yeah.
he returned, if you remember.
Yeah.
Even if you try to get him in the playoffs, but he had one drop. His ability to consistently get open allows him to be a high volume target, man, especially with Mahomes as his quarterback now, especially with a full season, at least play 11
Yeah. Yeah.
12 games at least.
I
Yeah,
see the potential, but I
yeah.
guess I kind of with the debacle of a Super Bowl, I guess I wanted something I wanted something a little bit more fresh, like Subway. I
Yeah.
wanted to eat fresh a little bit.
Eat
Uh,
fresh. Now you made me
Subway,
hungry. I'm about to go to churches right after this.
Subway. If you want to sponsor us, hit us up. But anyway, we keep it moving.
Yes. But anyway, to finish up on that part, we next
Yeah.
move on. Yeah, man. I just believe that with the speed, you got basically an Xavier clone, but Xavier's faster. And with Brown, with his quick feet, that's his key success. He still shows you at the line of scrimmage how he gets out of his routes with the quick feet and enables him to make those sharp cuts and routes and accelerate away from those defenders. So I think using him in the slot. So you got basically wide receiver 3 and 4 in Juju and Brown. That's basically having one player all into one, like the Patara rings in Dragon Ball Z. That's like bringing in Goku and Vegeta past their prime and putting them into one guy, and it's Gogeta. It's still powerful enough.
I mean,
to make it work.
I get your analogy there, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just I don't know, man. I just hate. And we can move on whenever you're ready. But Nagy with the reins of this offense is not kicking it for me. And I don't see any fact that this year will be different, even though the weapons look like it might be a little bit different. I don't know. Something's lacking here. And for lack of a better term, I'm trying to figure out where that is. And I was hoping maybe some new fresh blood would help.
Yeah, I feel you, man. We'll look at that, man. There's still the draft and everything because a lot of these guys are still got 1-year deals anyway, except for work.
Yeah.
Rice. So we move on. So a key important piece that we all thought, both you and I thought who's gonna move on, but
man,
Bags made it clear that he needed him back, and that starts with the Chiefs as they retained star linebacker Nick Bolton on a 3-year, $45 million deal with $30 million guaranteed. And that gives him $15 million yearly. And at 25, y'all know that he started 16 games last season, recorded 106 tackles and 3 sacks, and he participated in all 3 playoff games, adding 20 total tackles. Drafted by the Chiefs in 2021. And I think I remember when I had my original Twitter at Magruder PMAC, I did say, and I predicted to everybody that he would be the Chiefs' first selection that year too. Bolton made a huge impact, which is why I compared him to Ray Lewis coming out of Mizzou, just the way that he played and the impact that he bring. Had 112 total tackles in 12 games as a rookie, as we all remember. He maintained being he helped the Chiefs maintain being a top 10 run defense over the last 3 years, especially in 2022 when he took over as the full-time starting linebacker when they let Anthony Hitchens go. He recorded 180 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 picks, including that 36-yard fumble return for a touchdown in Super Bowl 57 against the Eagles. Despite missing 9 games in 2023 due to the injury, he led the team with 40 tackles in 4 playoff games, including 13 in Super Bowl 58. And he will be a top 7 paid off-ball linebacker this upcoming season, and his deep understanding of the defense enhances his value as the play caller on defense. Since his rookie year, he has the highest run stuffing percentage among all linebackers, according to Next Gen Stats.
I know he's a Mizzou guy, but that wasn't the move that I would have made, to be fair.
I feel you. Yeah, me too.
Because here's the reason I say that. There are 3 positions that I personally, if I was a GM, it's always turn them and burn them. Okay. Sounds rough to say, but that's the reality of the situation. Those three positions: linebacker,
Absolutely.
safety, running back. Those are the three positions that I would literally take their rookie contract, play their rookie contract, let them go find other opportunities while I draft some more linebackers, some more running backs, another safety. I'm just personally, and the Chiefs have gone counter to my ideas because they went out and got Justin Reed, they went out and got the Honey Badger, the landlord, as it were, and that's been working for them. But I still would have. I've always thought the linebacker position, the running back, and the safety position are all positions that you should be looking to turn and burn in the draft, and you get one every other year or something like that. You figure out your system how you want to do it, but by the time that linebacker's rookie season is up, there should be another one ready to step in and had already had a little playing time, so you know exactly what he's going to bring. Same thing with safety, same thing with running back. So that's the only reason. Other than that, Nick Bolton is that dude. MIZ by the by, but I still would have let him. Walk, but
Yep. And I was initially okay with letting Bolton walk as well, but after seeing Spags' strong support and bringing him back, it's clear how vital he is to this defense. He's 5'11", 237. He's poised for a fifth breakout season. His ability to diagnose plays and tackle ball carriers has made him a key player in the front seven since 2022. While his size was initially a concern coming into the league, his toughness and instincts compensate for it, man. His capability to shed blocks and pursue the ball has established him as a top-tier run defender, like what you saw him do against Bijan Robinson. The Chiefs should continue utilizing Bolton as a pass rushing on occasion. In 2024, he had 4 sacks and made significant impacts as a blitzer, placing him among the best inside linebackers. Although his coverage was seen as a weakness before the draft, he has improved his awareness and depth in zone coverage since taking over full time. However, he still struggles with turning and running to match with the tight ends, as you saw, kind of like that first play against Isaiah Likely that resulted in a touchdown, but he got better when, he likely had his toe on the line. But as we move on, Bolton had 81 solo. With 81 solo tackles last season. He ranks among the most active tacklers, though he missed 18 last season, indicating a need for more consistency with that. Thanks to his football IQ, his athleticism, and his toughness, Bolton is rising the ranks, making him definitely a top 10 inside linebacker in this league.
Yeah, he deserves a contract. Let's be honest. I'm not poo-pooing the contract. He deserves a contract. It's just, again, my philosophy on certain defensive positions. Rossett has asked about our offensive and defensive lines. Are we doing something about that defensive and offensive line? Stay tuned, my brother. We got a mock draft coming up soon.
Yes.
And believe me, there's going to be a couple names on there you want to keep an eye on. The offensive line, I don't know if you know about the gentleman from the 49ers.
We'll get into that. This is a special episode because this episode, we're just specifically doing news where we're going to talk about those things like, as you're asking, the D-line or O-line. As part of this new segment, we're going to talk about it. Apparently, we can't hit on the late round. Okay, man, stop worrying about that. Okay, you're my guy, Reset. I know you. I know what you're about to do. Not now, bro. Okay, relax. RELAX. Relax, bro. Okay.
Yeah,
we have championships, dude. Our fans be worrying about the wrong. I'm gonna say wrong shit. Stop worrying about the wrong shit, guys. I'm sorry, but calm down.
It happens.
We're still a top 3 Super Bowl contender. Go look at the Vegas odds. Even after this Super Bowl, we're still the team that everybody is still talking about. We're still living rent-free in teams' heads. So come on.
All right.
So anyway, moving along. Hunt is back. Our guy, familiar faces returning to strengthen the Chiefs' offensive backfield. According to our sources that we predicted 5 days ago here at Chiefs Focus, the team has re-signed running back Kareem Hunt to a 1-year contract worth $1 to $2 million. Hunt, who will turn 30 in August, had a commendable performance last season in place of Pacheco, who got hurt in week 2, leading the team with 728 yards rushing, 7 rushing touchdowns on 200 carries. And the Chiefs returned Hunt after, as I mentioned, week 2, getting hurt against the Bengals. He entered the league with us 2017, 3rd round, part of that tradition of getting those third round running backs. Let's see if we do that in this draft. But during his rookie season, set that rookie rushing record, career high, 3,200 yards rushing. And we all know what happened with him later on after that. But his return provides the Chiefs with another strong rusher to support Pacheco. And we added Elijah Mitchell, which we're going to mention in the segment about the new players we got, who is a dual threat running back, enhances the backfield. The Chiefs should draw inspiration, in my opinion, as what I'm seeing with these moves from the Niners and what the Bills have done. Stack that running back room with the best players at the position and, adding through the draft.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, the running back room, I definitely think we need to throw numbers at it a little bit, because it opens up options. And I thought we should have did that last year with, I think, what's his face that went back to the Bengals. He should have been used a little bit more. Running back went back to the Bengals. He caught the flip. He caught the Patrick Mahomes flip up.
Oh, Perine.
Perine went back to the Bengals.
Buccaneers,
yeah. I thought he should have been used a little bit more, and I thought all the running backs between Pacheco and all of them. And I know running backs have to get into a rhythm with the game. I get it, but there should have been a little bit more usage of Perine, to be honest with you. But it is what it is, and so I do think Andy Reid will go back to, I want to say 2018, where he'll probably have a full running back room with like four at most running backs. Hunt's going to be one of them, obviously. Pacheco, I've looked at his recovery on his workouts on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking better, more explosive now. So
I'm happy to see that. Yeah.
Need a little bit of rest to get that stuff done. So we'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. What's our next thing?
But our next thing, the Chiefs also re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster, according to Jordan Schultz. He had interest from other teams, but he chose that he wanted to stay. I already see your reaction, man. And all right, Juju. We brought back Juju. He made an announcement on his Instagram now that he got back with the Chiefs. He expressed his happiness about returning. He feels great to be back here, man. It's a blessing. What do you got to say about it, man?
I'm not a hater, and I know it seems like I am, but I'm not. Okay. To me, if you keep 6, if you keep 5 or 6, obviously you're gonna have to keep at least 5. But if you get 6 wide receivers, I'm cool with him staying on the team. But he's your big body guy, and he's not going up to get anything. Like, he's not going down the middle. He's not. It's time to move on for some of these guys. And I think I would have rather bring Justin Watson back than bring back Juju. I wanted to see if we can go in a different direction as far as the free agency was concerned, or even we can still do the draft.
We're still doing the draft.
Get your big body Brian Robinson Jr., I think his name is, for the Giants. Bring a big body, a big physical presence like him in, and let him develop with Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. I definitely think developing with Patrick Mahomes is going to be an underrated situation where somebody doesn't develop bad habits with another horrible quarterback, and they get to learn from Pat, and they get to be with Pat and I think that helped with Rashid, and it helped with Worthy even in that Super Bowl. So I just think that it was time to start building the room through the draft a little bit more. We still
Yeah,
have time,
you
but
still
I'm
got
just
time. It's just man, you just got to give him that time, man. I still think he offers, a wide catch radius and can adjust well against tight coverage. But his speed might be an issue, especially with his durability, especially against the top corners.
durability is
He
an
can
issue.
he can still thrive against zone coverage, especially in those open spots, as you saw in the AFC title game, man.
You're right. You're
He can
correct on
still be a quality starter in this league and should remain a valuable third or fourth option this upcoming year. That's just my thoughts. But so move along. We almost got a few more about these news stories with the Chiefs related as we're going to go over. It's like our review about what these moves and how they affect the roster going forward. And then after that, we're going to conclude this show with the mock draft. And so, people, thank you for staying with us. I'm sorry about that technical difficulty, people. So stay with us, man. This is why this is such a special episode of the War Room. So as we go on, Najee Johnson is back. So that's another one to look into. The Chiefs have retained Najee after Justin Reed left for New Orleans. Shout out to Justin, man. Good luck to him.
Yep, for sure.
They have they've tendered Johnson with the right of first refusal, meaning they can match any offer he receives from another team. Johnson, his original seventh round pick. He showed significant progress last season, starting at times opposite McDuffie, contributing to that cornerback by committee. After recovering from a torn ACL, by the way, recording 56 total tackles, 3 deflected passes, and a sack. It was 5'10", 199. Johnson possesses that great speed, 4.37, but he has struggled with consistent coverage. And this is his first time at the cornerback position full time. His footwork had led him to being targeted often, and while he is a willing run defender, he needs to improve his ability to break on those passes. He only missed 5 tackles last season, showcasing that he has great tackling technique, which is what I like about him. At 26, he has the potential, but must enhance his coverage skills. And adding Christian Fulton, who we're going to also talk about too as well as we go on along with this, could redefine Johnson's role on the team now that he's back. If he competes successfully for the cornerback 3 position against Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams, Chiefs may need to adjust their strategies to hide his weaknesses.
Nazee's cool. I don't think I there's only so many positions to go around, so I definitely think Najee has a role here in the Chiefs, and I definitely think Spags brings out the best in him and does it and finds a way not to put him in the bad position as much as he possibly can. So I think we could have gotten better, but I'm not complaining about this move at all. Surprisingly, I know I've complained a lot about the moves, couple moves that were made, but it's okay.
Yeah, and there's one more player that came back, which I'm also glad that we got back. Oh yeah, mentioned Matt Araiza also got tendered as well. We also tendered Cole Christensen and Jack Cochran. That fulfills our linebacker room, but I still have a good feeling that linebacker could still be one of those luxury picks in this draft class this year, especially when you look at this. A lot of those linebackers I'm naming are going to be free agents next year. You not only got to look at specific need for now, but also look at
good point.
Yeah, look at need for next season too. You got to build. That's why it's called the franchise. The term, the franchise.
Yeah.
And with that, another one I think is significant. We're bringing back Malik Herring. Herring is a undrafted free agent out of Georgia in 2021. He brings solid depth to the team's defensive line rotation, particularly as a run defender. At 6'3", 275, 27-year-old spent his first year on the non-football, non-injury list, but has made the roster every season since. Though he lacks speed as a pass rusher, Herring can effectively shed blocks and contribute up the middle. Yeah, he recorded 1.5 sack over the last 19 regular season games, but now as he's back, you get to see him back in his 5 technique position. Might not be a dynamic playmaker, but he offers reliable support for the Chiefs defensive line unit.
Don't disagree with that. I actually really I actually think he's great. I like the okay. I'm overstating things, and I do apologize. I don't want to say he's great, but I do like the idea that he can go from defensive line to linebacker. I actually kind of love that idea. I'm one of those hybrid type of player guys because it helps you disguise coverages
And inside
that
too, defensive line too.
that it helps you disguise coverages that much better. And when you got a guy like Spags, it helps him be more creative. And I'm okay with that. I love that idea. So I'm here for that. I like Malik Herring. But we do need to figure out um how to find the OCU Manura / Justin Tuck / what's the guy on Good Morning America?
Michael
Michael Strahan's situation. Malik Herring is every other guy, but we got to figure out who's going to be that Michael Strahan to the OCU Manura.
I think we already have them. I think we already have them.
I don't disagree with you. I just know
Chris
that
Jones,
that's where, obviously, but that's where Spags was in his literal bag when he's talking about pass rush. It was specifically pass rush. So I would love to see us get back to that, but go ahead.
Okay. And now with that, we spent these 46 minutes talking about our guys that are coming back, returning from 2024 into 2025. Now, as the last part of That's News to Me segment in this special episode, let's get into the new faces. Now, the Chiefs swiftly addressed a need during the NFL's opening negotiation period by signing San Francisco 49ers offensive tackle Jalen Moore to a 2-year, $30 million deal with $22 million guaranteed. Moore is 6'4", 311 pounds. He's from Western Michigan. He was a 4th-round pick by the Niners in 2021. He has played in 55 games with 12 starts as Trent Williams' primary backup. At 27, Moore is set to fill the left tackle position for the Chiefs' offensive line.
I don't know about this move. I'm fine with it, but that's not to say I'm not going to sit here and say I love it. I think he's. Reset said, honestly, we're looking at for an elite pass rusher. That's all. I agree with you, but that's Chris
Absolutely
Jones.
Agree. We got Chris Jones, and we could add another guy. It's just you gotta be sure you know that's the guy that you truly want in this draft class. But when you really look at it, here's the thing, Reset. What I was trying to say was this: when you look at Chris Jones, you could look at Chris Jones in the same way, like as J.J. Watt, guy who could play all over on the defensive line, and that's what we got in Chris Jones. And we need a pure, true outside speed rusher type guy. I know that's what you're talking about, but right now we're looking for that from Enudike Uzama, but he hasn't shown that yet. But we'll get to that. But I'll talk about that later on, especially as part of the mock draft segment. And also,
I don't want to talk about that at all.
We'll get into it. So anyway, I'd prefer it to have this guy at his age for the money he's worth, rather than overspending on Dan Moore and Cam Robinson, who fans is like, oh, we need to
no. Dan Moore, no, neither of those guys.
None of those guys.
No.
I'm just gonna say it like this. Moore kind of reminds me a bit of a former All-Pro who just retired, Jason Peters, and also former All-Pro Packers left tackle David Bakari. They're both Bakhtiari. David Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari and Jason Peters. Yeah. Both Bakhtiari and Peters. They're at least 6'4", just like Moore. And all three are over 300 pounds. And like Peters, Moore has the same arm length, which is more than sufficient for the required arm length requirement to play the left tackle position. However, they compensate with the way they play as technicians. Like I've always said, when it comes to the left tackle position, there's technicians, there's athletes. Moore has a little more athleticism to being a technician. And you got to look at it like this. I understand why you're banking on this. This is our left tackles will make over 20 plus million or close to 30 million. 11 million per year, or 15 million per year. That's basically, in my opinion, pennies for a left tackle at this time. And I actually like this move. And this is one of the reasons I like this. And also on top of that, if you are okay with Caliendo still playing at left guard. You got to look at it like this.
I'm cool with Caliendo playing left guard. Yeah,
because you got to remember this. Moore now gets to reunite with his college teammate, Mike Caliendo. They played together from 2018 to 2020. Moore at left tackle, Caliendo at left guard for the Western Michigan Broncos. And also on that team was Sky Moore. So I'm excited about, this signing. In my opinion, he may not have like the ideal length or quickness. His technique stands out. He maintains good body alignment, balance, using his strength and, his hand placement to keep the pass rushers at bay. He consistently fights to sustain blocks, but can get pushed aside at times. Over the last 2 years, as he's taken over for Trent Williams and learning for Trent Williams, he's allowed 4 sacks among 26 pressures, over 674 snaps at left tackle. But learning from Trent has been beneficial. And I got to say, compared to those stats of the guys we had at left tackle, he's better at left tackle than any guy we got on this roster right now. And he accelerates well off the line of scrimmage, and he effectively engages defenders at the second level. But he struggles to move them significantly. But with the offensive tackles underperforming, Moore could be the key to stabilizing that offensive line. His pass protection is crucial for protecting Mahomes, which makes him a strong candidate for a long-term starting role for this team. So that's my thoughts on that one.
He signed a 2-year deal, so we have him for 2 years, and we'll see exactly what he's made of and what they want to do with him. I still don't think this stops them from drafting a left tackle, but we'll see. We'll see. Because this is like, let's be real, it's a 2-year deal. And yeah, they can re-sign him, but they obviously have an end in mind with him. So I do think this means that they're looking elsewhere for a tackle. And I do think they're going to have to go on a little cheaper version because of, you're not going to pay 2 tackles $15 million for a backup. You know what I mean? Yeah. So as that, the biggest bust is Jawan Taylor. To be honest, yeah, we don't like him either. So we'll keep it moving.
We'll keep it moving. And I got something to mention about Jawan later on. But anyway, the Chiefs went on to sign running back Elijah Mitchell to a 1-year deal worth $3.5 million. At 27, Mitchell strengthens the backfield behind Pacheco, especially as Hunt was originally going to be a free agent, but resigned days later. Mitchell was drafted in the 6th round by the 49ers in 2021, played 27 games, 12 starts, rushing for 1,500 yards rushing, 9 rushing touchdowns on 327 career carries. He also has caught 28 passes for 158 yards and a touchdown. Due to a hamstring injury, he missed the entire 24 season. His best season was his rookie year when he rushed for 963 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. And he could either, get back to his old self from his rookie year, tap back to being close to being that guy, or he might just be the new Ronald Jones.
I'm not going to even mention it because it's going to make me sound negative, and I don't want to be negative about the team. I'm sorry. I just don't. No. Again, I would just draft a running back, to be fair.
That's what it's looking like, man.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But we continue.
Yes, sir. And this one move might actually be one of my favorite moves. It might be one of the most underrated moves by the Chiefs. With Fulton, Christian Fulton, former Titans and Chargers cornerback, has signed with the Chiefs. Hold on. Now we're having technical difficulties with this here. Just wait for a second here.
All right. There we go. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, his internet's going crazy. It's probably Mercury in retrograde. Always messes with technology, but who knows? But anyway, Christian Fulton, former Chargers and Bengals, Chargers and Titans cornerback, has signed with the Chiefs. I believe 2-year deal worth $20 million. This move now would move Trent McDuffie back into the slot. So I'm gonna drop these stats for you, bro. Especially against Chiefs slot defenders, since McDuffie moved into the outside position full time. The most first downs allowed in the NFL. the third most expected points added allowed in the NFL, the fifth worst success rate in the NFL. These stats reflect how the Chiefs performed in defending slot receivers last year. Now with him signed, he will primarily play on the outside, where he spent 84% of his career snaps. This move now allows Spags to shift McDuffie back into the slot in the nickel and dime packages, while he'll start off as the outside guy in the base. While McDuffie can play anywhere on the field, he is arguably the best slot cornerback in the NFL. This adjustment is significant as the Chiefs have struggled to defend slot receivers last year. Additionally, this setup enables Shamari Conner to assist with the safeties, which is his natural position because he's a hybrid safety following Justin Reed's departure to New Orleans.
That's what I love about this. It'll be able to push him out there to help with these. This should help us with the tight end situation. Us getting cooked by tight ends dang near every game. So that's the real reason I love this whole move. So that's all I want.
Yeah. Here's another reason why this move could be your favorite move too, not just for that, but also the player itself. This signing kind of reminds me of when the Giants in 2016, when Spags was the defensive coordinator there, they signed the Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins, that year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, like Jenkins, Fulton is known to wanting to seek for those picks on every play, posing as a turnover threat. However, he often loses focus on his coverage assignments, as you've seen him in matchups against, like last season, Jamar Chase. Fulton can struggle to had struggled to adapt to Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator of the Chargers defensive scheme, playing hesitantly and failing to effectively track the receivers in the ball. While he is a talented player, his coverage shortcomings become more apparent without more straightforward assignments that he had in Tennessee, which made him a better player. He recorded only one interception last season, though he had opportunities for more. The Chiefs could benefit significantly if he returns to his 2021-2022 form before he got hurt that time. His energy and his intensity in pursuing ball carriers also stands out. He actively attacks blocks rather than waiting coverage. And with Spags, Fulton could replicate Jenkins' All-Pro success from 2016. They could get the very best out of Fulton.
We will see how that works out, but I am actually kind of excited about that. Just for putting McDuffie back in the slot, I'm gonna enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. And man, here we go, man. This one, I know everybody was shocked by this one. I was shocked, but I was like, these is one of those bold moves I'm glad that we actually made. The Chiefs have found Mahomes a new backup. None other than who we call Uncle Rico, the stash.
Yes.
Former Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Gardner Minshew has signed a one-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, who will turn 29 this May. He was released by the Raiders last week after a challenging season in Las Vegas where he threw 10 interceptions compared to just 9 touchdowns. His most successful year came his rookie year with the Jaguars. As we all remember, week 1 against the Jaguars when Nick Foles went down, Minshew stepped in and he almost gave us a run for our money. He threw for over 3,000 yards, 21 touchdown passes, only 6 picks, and had over a 91 passer rating. And Minshew has over, 11, almost close to 12,000 yards passing, 68 touchdown passes, 34 interceptions throughout his career, which is a really good resume. And the Chiefs are continuing their strategy of adding a veteran quarterback and supporting Mahomes in recent years. You've had Carson Wentz, then there was Gabbard. Well, before Wentz, there was Gabbard, and before that, there was Anything Is Possible, Chad Henne. Then before that, there was Matt Moore.
I mean, we got him, and we also got former Patriots quarterback.
Bailey Zappi.
Now, that's abnormal of Andy Reid to keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster. So I do think to save room, he'll probably put one of them on the practice squad. I do think, obviously, that'll probably be Zappi. because Olajuwon's back too. But I actually like the stash. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't think he'd come to Kansas City because I didn't think Andy Reid wanted him, but I like Gardner Minshew. There's a couple of backups that I really like. Gardner Minshew is one of them. Taylor Heineke is another one. I really enjoy those two. And there's one more that's escaping my mind right now, but I like that move.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And then the other moves, there was Jerry Tillery, and then
Yes.
those other moves. I like that move as well too. But
I
it
do too.
sets up everything to now lead to this. And with time we have left, people, and we're gonna do this for the next few minutes, and it leads us to this. And that's all we got for the news to me segment. That leads us to now finally talking about the first of the year, as I did this last year. The first mock draft of 2025. And without wasting any time, after the 40-22 loss to the Eagles, we all know the offensive line
Yes.
has drawn scrutiny as Mahomes face heavy pressure. This team needs upgrades on the line. Additionally, offensive weapons to, take pressure off of Mahomes and add some defensive enhancements to boost that top 5 ranking defense. So my mock draft utilizes the Pro Football Focus mock draft model, and it highlights the potential options this offseason. So let's start with the first one. My first pick with the 31st overall pick, the Chiefs select James Pierce, the defensive end out of Tennessee. And I noticed in this draft there was Pierce and also Mizzou's Luther Burton III. They were available at 31. We could definitely choose him if it comes to that, but Pierce here offers more excellent value, and I'm going to tell you why. Athleticism, impressive production, disruption scores secured the place in the first round. His agile movements exhibit NFL caliber traits, making him situational at a minimum and an all-pro at his peak. So Pierce has demonstrated enough pass rush ability to become an NFL star and can make an immediate impact alongside Carl Loftus. He is the same size as Leonard Floyd. That's my comparison. Who is about 6'5" or taller than Floyd, and he weighs about the same as Floyd coming into the draft, over 240. Floyd has developed into a very effective pass rusher, averaging about 9.5 sacks since 2023 last year. So he's a guy who's averaging almost about a double-digit sack. And I learned last week that the Chiefs were interested in Floyd and signing him before he signed with the Niners. So with that being said, that's why I'm going with Pierce here. When you watch the tape, yes, I see the size and everything in Leonard Floyd, but I see a little bit of Von Miller in his playing style, who began his career as a 4-3 outside linebacker for the Broncos before becoming an edge rusher, who was also 240 coming into the draft as well and a fast guy. Pierce has improved as a run defender, showing his ability to shed blocks and recognize plays post-snap. With his speed, agility, and strength, Pierce poses a significant challenge for blockers, which the Chiefs greatly need, man.
I definitely agree with what we need, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I have only looked at a few of these guys from jump, so I don't have a yay or nay. It takes me a while to get into the looking into these people. So you'll probably see me chiming in a little bit more, probably closer to the end last week of the month, because there's a lot of draft picks in here, and there are a lot of uncovered gems in here in this draft. And I like those guys, you know what I mean? To be honest, I'm trying to think of one of the guys from last season, but I can't think of him, so we're not gonna worry about it. We keep it moving. Who's your next guy?
We keep it moving. And with the 63rd overall pick, I get Shavon Revel, cornerback from Eastern Carolina. Like Iowa State's Darren Porter, man, Revel ranks among my favorite cornerbacks in this draft class as well. Now that we got Fulton on the outside and McDuffie shipped him back in the nickel, they need a player with exceptional skills to enhance Watson or Williams, either aiding them as part of the committee, or competing for their spot altogether. Revel would immediately take that spot, in my opinion. Standing at 6'3", over 6'2", weighing at least 190 pounds. All AAC honors in 2023. Had over 50 tackles, interception, and a sack, and even a fumble recovery for a touchdown. He began last season strong with 2 interceptions and 2 picks in 3 games before suffering a knee injury. His hips are fluid during various turns, allowing him to transition seamlessly through multiple directional changes without losing speed. Revel maintains balance across different techniques, ensuring he is always poised to attack the ball wherever he's at, in position to attack the ball. Just like the guy who is now the highest paid cornerback today, all-pro corner Derek Stingley. Once he's fully recovered, because remember, Stingley had issues about his injuries coming to the league. So once he's fully recovered, Revel could significantly enhance the secondary depth and potentially compete for the starting cornerback 3 role.
Cool. All right. Your third overall, or not overall, your third pick for the Chiefs.
At pick 63, I got to go with my guy, who I call White Beast Mode. They maintain the third round running back tradition by selecting Arizona State's All-American running back Cam Skattebo. At 5'10", 215 pounds, he mirrors Marshawn Lynch with his low center of gravity and his ability to maintain balance while running. Skattebo's physical style enables him to use his strength effectively, always falling forward after contact. He possesses excellent strength, a burst upfield, and surprise agility for a guy his size. Additionally, he shows promise in pass protection. He could catch effectively from the backfield. He would enhance the Chiefs' running game, fitting well in their zone blocking scheme by consistently gaining tough yards. I feel like Skattebo will start as a backup behind Kareem or Pacheco, but could become the starter by season's end, potentially earning all-rookie honors and Pro Bowl recognition.
I do think he'll be gone before the third round, personally. I don't. I
think
mean, I
so?
know. I think things will shake up to where he might be gone by in the second round. But if he does land in the third, I actually like Cam Skattebo. I've seen enough tape on him. He's good. He's good. And in fact, I told you that he reminds me of the Heisman hopeful from years ago, 2008. I want to say, I can't remember his name. Played at Stanford, I want to say. Can't remember.
Toby Gerhart.
Toby Gerhart. He's very
Gerhart. No,
Yeah, he's
no. I see Marshawn Lynch, bro.
I see a guy that can shed blocks,
That
but can
low
also
center
run
of gravity
through
division.
blocks. But anyway, we keep it going.
Right. Yes, sir. And I'm gonna go with somebody who I feel like will provide Chris Jones with some inside help. And also Warden is gone. Yes, you just added Jerry Tillery, but we don't know much of what he'll do. So I added Kentucky's Deion Walker at 6'6", 348 pounds as a standout in his draft. He blends size with remarkable agility, allowing him to penetrate the backfield, stop runners, and pressure quarterbacks. As teams switch to, too high safety looks, a tiny nickel defense while providing pass rush potential. The Chiefs adopting this strategy would benefit by pairing Walker with Jones to develop a versatile defensive front. My comparison, a 6'6" Dontari Poe.
I saw that. And if you look, I also put their position rank on there. He's ranked the eighth D tackle in this draft. 6'7". This man is massive. Okay. He is a building with hair. So yes, I like his tape. Hopefully we'll be able to put a little bit of college tape highlights on here coming up on the other shows, but we'll see. But I like this guy. I really do. Deion Walker.
Yeah. And we got 2 more to go, and we'll be done with that. So with pick 132, I got a Johnny Cornelius, right tackle from Oregon. And I know y'all go like, "Oh, you drafted the right tackle." You dang right I did. And I'm gonna
Yeah,
explain why.
dang right I did.
I'm gonna explain right now. There's Chase Lunt from I think that's how you pronounce it, from Connecticut. That's another option, especially you can get him at 132. Or if you want to get another pick, or with the 7th round pick, you can also look at Logan Brown, my guy from Charles Jayhawk. I'm not going to get into that, but
This guy.
I have some inside information. Yeah, this guy. I have some inside information regarding the whole entire situation about Joe Tinney. I heard initially from our guys from the insiders at Chiefs Focus, the plan was originally not to trade Joe Tinney. I heard that they were trying to trade Jawan Taylor. Yes, you heard it right from here, folks. Jawan Taylor was originally, as I heard, supposed to be the guy. But when I heard that when they was talk that he was brought up as the name, the Bears flat out laughed instead of asking for Joe. So I thought when I did this, originally I did a trade where I traded away Jawan, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But you can still get his replacement if you want to, especially give him motivation to play better, whatever that is. I got Angie Cornelius, right tackle from Oregon, as his replacement, potentially. He's best projected as a guard in the NFL, where his length and leverage can be utilized effectively. But 33.5-inch arms, that is enough to play the tackle position. And yes, technician compared to athlete. He's a technician and is a guy who blocked for Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel at Oregon. That is more impressive to me. And while he needs to refine his skills, Cornelius has the physical attributes for the position and could enhance the Chiefs' offensive line depth. He fits the team's preference for the size and the arm length, making him a strong target in this position. So,
I don't know much about him, so again, I had to wait till a couple weeks when I start looking at film of these guys. But I'm here for the right tackle talk. I'm here for right tackle talk. So, who's next? Who's our last guy?
and the last pick, with pick 221, this could be arguably the steal of the draft for Kansas City if they land on this guy. This could be the Trey Smith of left guard positions. And with my final selection in this mock draft, I choose Georgia's All-American left guard, as I mentioned earlier in the show, as Joe Tooney's replacement, Dylan Fairchild, at 315. Fairchild was a 2-year starter who gave up only 1 sack. He demonstrates excellent agility, athleticism, practical pass protection skills. He's a former state champion wrestler. He excels in engaging defensive linemen and uses powerful extensions and punches. While his hand usage and footwork can be inconsistent, he makes impressive plays in pass protection. He actively looks for opportunities to assist his teammates and is aggressive in the run game, effectively reaching the second level and demonstrating and dominating smaller defenders, Although his play strength was initially a concern, he has the potential for improvement as a situational starter, but with the chance to be an actual all-pro type guy. Projected as a late 5th or 6th round pick, his background from Georgia's strong offensive line gives him added value. While the Chiefs may not need immediate help on the interior, his skills and mentality fit with their vision for the offensive line, especially alongside another late round pick, Trey Smith. And he does remind me a lot of Joe Tooney. They're not be the strongest, but he has the athleticism and the intelligence and the athleticism to hold up well in blocks.
I'm always here for this lineman from Georgia, to be fair with you. Again, I've seen him work as a unit in that offense, but I don't know much about him directly. So I'm here for that. And I like the idea of trading picks to get him. So that's pretty good. So that's PMAX mock draft 1.0 2025. All right. I think that
Yes,
is
sir.
the end of our show. We talked about the news because there's a lot of
All right,
news.
y'all, man. I just want to say thank you.
Go ahead.
Though, but Yeah.
You gotta say that over again because I think your audio cut out for a second.
Oh, my audio cut out.
No, it's fine now.
Man,
Just go ahead and say it again.
I was just saying, sorry for the technical difficulties, everybody. You see a lot of stuff is going on tonight, but we got through the show. Yeah, it was a lot of news, and I felt like I personally wanted to break down like how some of these moves affect the roster so everybody can understand it. Some of y'all might get it, some of you guys might not, but I'm glad that we was able to get through this, and I felt like these things to talk about was very important. So yeah.
Sounds good. Well, for PMAC, for myself, for Chiefs Focus, that's the end of our show, and we are out. Deuces.
Deuce.